Welcome to Reread. We're on book 2 of Aaron Alston's fantastic duology for New Jedi Order. This one's called Rebel Stand. Rebel Stand has a lot of stuff that I've forgotten. Tavaslang La Tavas, I don't care how you pronounce his name. He uncovers a plot by the Shapers that are rotting his arm. Remember, Vicky Sesh said this just to save her life. I don't know if I mentioned this I think this happened in the first book, but she's about to die, and she makes up this plot that makes sense to her, but she doesn't think is real. And in actuality, it turns out to be real. And La finds this out. It's like, oh, this is something by the Shapers trying to gain control. Sneaky little guys. I'm going to get to him, and he will later on. In fact, I'll go ahead and get to this because I love how this story ends for him. He lets the Shapers, he reveals himself that he says, I know you guys are the traitors. And he's going to leave them to die. He said, you are so despicable. You're so beneath me for this treachery. He said, you won't even die by Vong hands. And out from a I think it's a Velop or whatever, comes this, one of the black holes, comes a Rancor. At first you don't know what it is. They give a description of it. He goes, the people of this galaxy call this a Rancor. And I was like, oh, okay, because you're getting a description. You're like, what is this beast? And the Shapers are all mad. And they turn to him in defiance and go, and if we beat this beast, he went, then we shall see. And as La's walking away, 3 more beasts appear. Like they thought they had a chance against one, but now when they appear on all 4 sides of them, they're going to die. I totally forgot about this scene. I thought it was so incredible. Honestly, I talk about New Jedi Order so much. I love New Jedi Order so much, and I try to remember all the highlights. There are so many highlights in these 2 books by Aaron Alston. I am ashamed that I've forgotten about how good they are. They're so stinking good. I also forgot to mention in this book is a story about Tam. He's a spy for the Vong, an unwilling spy who got captured during Coruscant, reprogrammed with some kind of worm in his head that gives him headaches and could kill him. He fights. It's so funny. He's fighting the worm and bleeding through his nose and mouth. And Jaina goes up to him and says, "Hey, do you need some help?" He went, "It's okay. The Vong are trying to make me do bad things, but I will not do it. I will not do it." And she's like, yeah, okay, anyway, I'll call you a medic. Like, she thinks the guy's crazy. Like, he's not doing anything. Some people think he's brave for standing up to the Vong. A lot of people are like, you stinking traitor, even though he was so bad at his job. Elia even says that someone is trying to spy on people, but they're doing a terrible job. I mean, he's trying to set other people up, but Wedge's wife is seeing right through all this. And so he's just very bad at what he does. His character arc when he comes back in this one, they have a little adventure where he does uncover a true Vong spy and kind of becomes a hero in a way. But he's an interesting character. He kind of grows on you. He's not heroic by any shot of the imagination. In fact, he has a crush on Danny Quee at first, which kind of goes away in the second book. I don't think they mention it at all. And it's an all right character. I do not remember if this character comes back or not. I mean, I'm sure you're going to tell me in the comments, but I'll probably have read the books by then. But I don't remember if he comes back or not. But if he doesn't, I'm fine with that. If he does, I'm kind of fine too, because I found him interesting, found his little story arc good. Anyway, Lord Nyax is in this. Again, I've forgotten which book it was. I knew it was coming up, and I didn't know if it was this one or Destiny's Way. I'm noticing that a lot of things, scenes and events, my mind gets lost in which book was which. But Lord Nyax is in this one. It's great. I remember first hearing about this and hearing about him going, who is this? And just hating it until the big reveal. The big reveal is still awesome when you find out he's Eric from Children of the Jedi. And, how he got stabbed, I think, through the head and died. And his mother was trying to rebuild him back, but basically it just wasn't going to happen. And then when he got activated, he's not in body, he's Eric. But he's like, I don't know, he's like 9 feet tall. He's got lightsabers all over his arms like Wolverine or something. He's got lightsabers on his elbows and stuff. I saw a picture of him once. I was like, ooh, that's not how I imagined him to be. But he's this mindless, raging dark side beast, now of a man. Because he's got, he's built-in armor. He's built and hulking. He's bulking. He's just a juggernaut. Because Raganda, I think was her name, she's still hoping that he will one day be the emperor. And it's a great story. It's in line with the canon of the EU because she always wanted him to grow up to be the next emperor. So she's still hiding on Coruscant, which makes sense. Eventually she's going to die because of something triggers and he kills her, which they reveal that too. It's just a sad ending for these two, but should we really care about them? I love how this story ends because it's just giant fight where Luke, Mara, Tahiri are just, even the Vong are all attacking him at once, just trying to stop him. Eventually they do. It's a big battle. I absolutely love this battle. Tahiri fools him by shading herself in the Force, which is really cool. Tahiri really takes a step up here, and she's the one that gets to kind of defeat the big baddie, even though it wasn't the final death blow. It was near the end anyway. And Vicky Sesh also dies by taking her own life. She realizes she can't get away from the Vong. The Vong's about to kill her. The only escape ship that's coming for her, Mara Jade, is there on the ramp, and she's like, Mara Jade's going to kill me too. So Vicky Sesh, being as selfish as she always has been, decides only Vicky can take her own life and falls to her death, which I loved. Again, another excellent moment that I had forgotten about. But I love that death. Vicky Sesh's death is wonderful because she was this kind of corrupt politician that we turn out, she's a spy for the Vong, that now she's just a blown out traitor trying to steal Ben. Now she's, a traitor on the outs. And Nomenar isn't mentioned at all, and maybe he is mentioned, but he's not seen much in this. But he's kind of like how Nomenar is kind of getting on the outs with everyone in his race. But Vicky Sesh has fallen low, and she's still trying to, she still thinks, I'm going to come back. I'm making my comeback, baby. But in reality, she's just moving farther and farther down that hole. This is also the book where I remembered that Wedge was teased to die. Aaron Alston scared the living crap out of me when I first read this, because the whole time, Wedge is saying, y'all go on without me, no, I'll be safe. And then he has a bad feeling about this. I'm like, is he going to die? And then, his escape plan gets foiled as his ship is destroyed and it looks like he's not going to make it. And there's several times where you don't think he's going to make it. And this is like the last 20 pages of the book. And the whole time by the way, the space battle is, oh my goodness, so amazing. But Wedge, the whole time, I'm just reading it like this. I am petrified the first time I read it. I am on the verge of crying because I'm almost positive, Aaron Alston, you SOB, you're going to kill off Wedge. I really thought that. And this is why New Jedi Order really works, because it made you fear. This is why they had to kill Chewbacca. This is why Anakin died. Because now, none of your characters are safe. I still wasn't sure if Luke was going to make it to the end. I really thought, I said, they're going to kill off another big character at the end of this. Oh my goodness. And I'm just like rocking back and forth, just sick at my stomach at who's going to die at the finale. Because someone big has to die at the finale. I just thought, So the whole time, they tricked me. They had me. I thought Wedge was going to die. I was positive. And I was just so upset. I was like, because as we're getting to it's like that Grover book from Sesame Street. There's a monster at the end of this book. I don't know if you've read this book, but every time he's begging you, don't go to the end. Don't turn the page. I'm going to die. Grover begs you not to turn and you keep turning the page. And panic just keeps building up in him. That's how it is reading the last 10 pages of this book. There is a Wedge death at the end of this book. I do not want to turn the page. I do not want to read Wedge's book, but I must. You're screaming the whole time. My first time reading this was a joy, and I wonder if anyone else had the same experience their first time reading it through. But reading it again, it's good. Again, I knew he was going to make it out alive, but just reading it, I was like, oh, Alston, you sick person. Making us all sick to our stomachs. But that's the point of this, because no one's safe in this. Tavaslang Law's father is, I forgot to mention this, but he's the big baddie, I think, in this duology. He was a retired general because he doesn't believe they should be part of the invasion. His son took over as war master, and he doesn't believe in the war, but he'll follow his son's orders, because his son's war master. He's a kind of old school general. And everyone respects him, even though he doesn't respect many people in the book, because they're not true trained Vong like he trained Vong. In fact, he starts calling one guy an Ooglis Masker or whatever, because the guy is such an idiot. And he is kind of dim. Everyone's dim compared to him. But even with all his smarts, Law's father falls for Wedge's trick. And the Lusanka is basically about to kamikaze into the world ship and destroy it. And he realizes at the very end, even when no one else realizes they're doomed, he realizes they're going to die. And there's nothing he can do to avoid this. Like, he has fallen into their trap. He realizes it's too late. The infidels have tricked him. In fact, I love this. He gives his final words to his son. He said, son, we have taken Beloris. He went, excellent, father. You have established honor into our law, dynasty. He went, no, my son. This is not a win we should be grateful for. He went, these are my last words. He went, what? You are going to be victorious. He went, we will die. You know, I mean, he just knows it's the end. So he heed my final words. And so he gives his final words to his son, ends the communication, won't speak to anyone else on the bridge because that would dishonor his final words that he gave to his son. And when they say, he just kind of nods what they should do next. Excellent. And of course he dies. The battle, the epic battle, space battle at the end is incredible. Incredible. I'm tempted to say this is Alston's best. I'm looking at his books right now. I'm tempted to say this is his best. Yes, I'm just going to go ahead and say, wait, let me see. Hold on. He did some Legacy of the Force books. And he did Fate of the Jedi books. I don't know. Right now I'm calling it. Enemy Lines is his best. Right now. It's so good. There's still a lot of comedy. There's tons of comedy I forgot. Like, I think Face and Kel are trying to stay. They're dressed up as Vong for this mission, and they're seeing who will stay in the armor the longest. It's just a stupid, bet they have between the two of them. But Face he's got a messed up mask looks like a Vong with slashed lips and everything. And he goes up to Mara. He went, "Want a kiss?" And puckers his nasty little lips. And Mara goes, "You must be crazy or stupid." He went, "Fair point." And then a few more sentences later, he turns to Luke and goes, "A kiss?" And he goes, and Luke responds, "Get out of here." It's just classic Alston. Oh, I wish I would have met the man because he made beautiful novels, and this was one of the best he'd ever made. All right, folks, that's it for now. See you next time.